Hello, hello, everyone. Glad to see a few people in here since it was such a short notice. My name is Samantha from Kyron Horman Case Revisited, and Kaylee is here with me again tonight.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, we hope you guys are doing well. Tonight's live is law enforcement closing in on Dede Spicher. We are having some discussions between the two of us, me and Kaylia, this last week, kind of going stir crazy, thinking about a few things, um, talking about the last search that was done on Kyron, been trying to find out exactly where that was. Haven't had any luck so far. Um, because most of Kyron's searches are not put out in the media. If they're not put out in the media, sometimes we have people that will get a hold of the media and tell them, hey, I think they're doing searches. And then, news reporters show up, and then we actually find that there's a search going on. I've been able to, look at some videos and go, oh, I know where that video was taken at because I recognize, whatever's going on in the background. And then I'm able to go do some videos because, I'm recognizing the area. And so we have found a few search areas that way. But what we have been talking about here lately is this unusual shift that has happened with all of Kyron's searches. In the very beginning, we had, around the 2 mile area of the school, we had Newberry Road, which was a couple miles away from the school. We had Jim Kelly's house, which is right around the corner from Kyron's house, Sauvie Island, of course, things off of Highway 30, Moreland Road, Logie Road. All of this is either right next to Kyron's house, down off of Highway 30, or west. And this shift in searches right around 2016-17 started shifting way east. And what do we know about east of Skyline School? We know Dede Spicher was working at West Wind Farms east of Skyline School, probably about 4 or 5 miles away. So, why the sudden search, or why the sudden shift?
Right? The sudden shift in focus in the area where she allegedly said she was working, or where she started her morning at least. We know that for sure.
Yeah, she says she gets to work, you know, they invite her to lunch, but when lunchtime rolls around, Dee Dee's nowhere to be found. And we did a live on her recently talking about this, but we're going to talk about it again because it's just so crazy that we find a news clip that talks about Dede Spicher literally missing for up to 4 hours. New news clip. You can find it on our last live. It's just really interesting because that's a lot of time.
It's a huge amount of time. And I mean, yeah, I found another article today that says again that the witness that was there that morning that was working with Dee Dee was cooperating with the investigation and said that they looked for her and could not find her. So
Yeah,
again, just she was nobody could find her at that time. It was unverified that she was there. It's her word versus several other people that can't corroborate that. So it is important to
that's
talk about.
what Yeah, and that's what today's live's going to be. I have been able to throw a few things together. I got a couple maps. I was able to pull up on maps, a road view of things. But what was really interesting is I found a video clip today. I've watched this video 1,000 times, you guys, and I recognized something in the back, and I knew exactly where they had their command center for their search. So I'm really super excited. But let's, thank everybody for being here. We really appreciate seeing people, especially with,
Yes.
such short notice. No note. I want to see this case solved so badly. This is so heart wrenching. And Nope also says hello to Karen. Hello, Karen. Nice to see you here. Hey, Nope, are you the same Nope that I've been talking to on TikTok out of curiosity? I've been talking to a Nope that is Kyron's cousin. So I'm just trying to, that's you here. And there is Tim Blanche. This is Susie saying, hey, Samantha, Kalia, thank you so much for your live.
Yes, thank you for joining. Hi, Kathy, as well.
This is our other admin here, Susie. She knows a lot about the case. She has been on the Terri Did It train since day one. That's where her instincts, her gut instincts have always pointed. I love that about her because she has never drifted off of that path and she holds so much information. I had a long conversation with her the other day and on the phone for a couple hours, telling you what. And it was after talking to her and Kalia that things just started clicking. Want to say hi to Kathy, and I don't have TikTok. Sorry. Okay. I was just trying to confirm. I've been talking to somebody, but yeah, things just started clicking.
That's the good thing about when you work together with people and you just talk about stuff out loud. It really does make things kind of work a different way in your brain. So yeah, I agree. It's fun to have conversations and just try to wrap your head around things in a different way. And, also back to what you said about Susie being a long time, advocate for Kyron, and she's always believed that Terri was responsible. You, Samantha, as well as Susie, just saying it's awesome to go back when I'm researching things that are really, really old. And it's honestly surprising that there's still an archive of this stuff on Facebook. And I look at the comments and I see comments from you or Susie just, supporting Kyron and his family way back then. And I've always kind of been around in the back, but I haven't been somebody that did like a lot of research or like an advocate or like shouting publicly like Terri did it, like like I believed, like I do now on Facebook, I should say, basically for like a year, I would say. So it's kind of cool to compare and see people now that I'm friends with or here joining us in the live that have been there all the way back when I'm finding this information from the source. So thank you all.
You see that old stuff? That's funny.
It is.
Yeah,
I think
me
it's cool.
and Susie have been part of World Soldiers. I know I have since she put it out. And when I got connected with some of the other ladies that and started, doing case studies and stuff, I got kicked out for a little while, but Susie got me back in, thank God, because she's kind of been good with Stacy. But excuse me, my nose is running. I need to wipe it off.
It's that time of year.
It's so cold. I'm not sick.
Yes. I'm freezing too. I have blankies on. I'm freezing. I'm in a my room is in a basement. It's a finished basement, but that doesn't mean it's any less cold down here. So.
And of course, Pacific Northwest says we're going to get snow, and then it's nothing but a sheet of ice outside. We can't get down off of the hilltop where we're at because it's just frozen ice. I mean, the last I looked, the temperature was like 12, 13 degrees here. Yeah. And I'm sure that's gone down since it's dark now.
Crazy.
But no,
crazy,
I love
crazy.
it that you have seen us on there and stuff. I think that's really cool. I don't know. I see me sometimes in there when I'm looking around, but not all the time. But so one of the conversations that I had with Kalia the other day just brought up like, oh my gosh, I think Springville Road hooks up with Kaiser Road, because I've always had this really strange feeling about Terri being at the second Fred Meyer's. And then at the end of the day, she ends her day before she goes home at the 24-hour fitness gym, which is literally right down the road from that second Fred Meyer's. And I find it, really strange that she starts her day in that area, ends her day in that area. And I don't know what it was. I know I've been talking a lot about Springville Road, but there was a search on Springville Road in 2017. The search was done because of something that Dede Spicher had told law enforcement. We don't know what that is. Bruce McCain actually said, and he's like an old
Captain, I believe.
Yeah, an old sheriff captain. I think you're right.
I believe he was from the MCSO. So
Yeah.
He was no longer he may have been retired at that point, or he was not maybe elected. I'm not honestly sure how that worked and why he wasn't any longer associated or employed by the MCSO at that point. But yeah, he was a captain for Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. So I mean, he's pretty qualified when you hear his opinion on things, and I would say also probably has connections still.
Oh yeah. Well, and he's gone on the news and talked about this case so many times. Like, he was definitely on the inside researching this case or working on this case back then. But I remember him saying that he thought that the Springville Road search was to try to find one of those burner phones that Dede purchased or the other gal had purchased, because Dede went and bought a burner phone.
At least
she literally says it on Blink on Crime. She says she bought a burner phone. She said she only bought one, and that the other gal that was with her bought one. So there's two bought. And in a news clip that we've played before, they talk about how two more burner phones were bought the next day in cash and in no name, just like the two prior. But the lady said that she didn't do it. So who did do it the day after? Was it Dede? Was it Terri? Did they have somebody else do it? But the point is this all just really brought me into, oh my goodness, if you left the gym, you could go down Kaiser Road and you could take a right on Springville Road and you could come up around the other side. I've got a map. I'll just pause it right here. So where the red dot is, that is West Wind Farms. Down on the very bottom, the little blue dot, that is Skyline Boulevard and Springville Road. So if you take a left there on Skyline Boulevard and follow it all the way down to Germantown Road, where you kind of see where it says Forest Park at the top, and then you'll take a left and it guides you right down. So it's like, did somebody leave the gym, travel down Springville Road and toss a cell phone out, or what? I mean, I'm only speculating at this point that could have happened. The maybe cell phone got there a different way, but I realized, because every time I pull up maps, it takes me in the opposite direction. It comes up and around the other side of Old Germantown Road and Germantown Road. And it was just kind of like, okay, so what's going on around Springville Road? Well, then I started looking, and where you see this green walking person where it says Springville Road Trailhead, I found another Springville Road. And I know from watching an old news clip that said road closed, that there was another road headed south. Now, when I went there and took my video and everything else, kind of in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking like, where's that other road that I saw in that news clip? And then I just forgot about it. But this made me remember. And this Springville Road heads south I believe this is the one that was in the news clip, and it dead ends right at a trailhead into Forest Park, which I also found very interesting, because you got to remember, this is 2017. All of the
Right.
other searches for Kyron between 2010 and 2015 were all west. Well, I'm not going to say they were all, because they really did. They looked east, west, back and forth for a while, but then it just kind of turned into like a west search and around the school search. But lately is the point. Lately, the last 6 years,
Right.
it's
It's been near
gone east.
Dede, where Dede was allegedly working that morning, or at least was there that morning before nobody could find her. That is kind of interesting, an interesting observation, because lack of updates from the police, we can only really look at that kind of I guess pattern. Where are they looking? And that kind of can give us information on to, what are they thinking. Um, Also, again, this is just speculation. Maybe they're just checking a list. They're just going down the list as they, decide to search for Kyron. We don't know. But it is interesting that it is over by where Dede was working that morning.
Yeah, I do. I find it so interesting. And then, um, we've been talking about a few things lately. We've been talking, like last year, and kind of like, I don't know, it's been like a year or more, but January, well, let's back up even further. You got July and August of 2022. You have Stacy on World Soldiers, after saying for years and years that Dede didn't have immunity. After Desiree, years and years of saying that Dede didn't have immunity. In July of 2022, she's saying Dede had immunity. And then she's also saying that new evidence was found that Dede killed Kyron for Terri. And the thing about it is World Soldiers isn't known to lie about anything. She's not a trickster. Desiree's on her Facebook page. I don't see her saying things like that if she didn't know something, if there wasn't some kind of truth. Now, fast forward just a little bit to January. You have the new sheriff, the new woman sheriff over in Portland, who takes over at Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. And then February of 2023, you have Kane saying for the first time, we're not going to do a car show. And then in March, you have Desiree going to meet with the new sheriff, and there's a search done either at the end of February or beginning of March. Now, I emailed the detective to try to find out where the search was done, didn't really get an answer. And also, about the same time, one of the first posts that I seen Terri post in another Facebook group was in February of 2023. So you have, which, I mean, and she hasn't been on Facebook for 12 years. 12, 13 years. She just, Terri Horman all of a sudden decides, I'm going to get on Facebook. And we've been wondering, like, what happened? What changed? And it's just, hi, David. Nice to see you. So it's just really interesting that you have all of a sudden, within the 6 months period of time, all of this kind of weird stuff's going on. There's a new church. There's, the new sheriff. All of a sudden, they're saying Dede does have immunity. They're saying that Dede killed Kyron for Terri, and Kane, not having one of his car shows. And that was on February 7th. And then he posted again this year. They're not doing a car show for 2024. So what happened last year? what kind of information from law enforcement came in that could have stopped Kane from wanting to do another car show? Because he had, Kaylee, you know the in and outs of that. You read that nobody was liking, nobody was really saying anything to them, but they were offering help, you said, to Kane and the foundation.
Yeah, people were, it just, under my personal observation, it seemed that people were saying, if it is it because you need vendors, because I can get you vendors, is it because you need volunteers, because I know we have volunteers, and not only that, but I know we also would be able to get volunteers as well in our little community that we have together. um, is it, people were basically trying to get, why aren't you doing this for 2020? It's not only is he not doing it for 2024, but it seems like they're not doing it for the foreseeable future. They said that they're going to kind of regroup, focus on some other things, and they weren't specific, and they didn't like anybody's comments, and they weren't replying to anybody. So it kind of just seemed like they just posted and just went right back to their regular Facebook and didn't let anybody know why. And I just think it's interesting because that was a fundraising event, so who knows?
Right. And yeah, a fundraising event that they have not only for the Kyron Horman Foundation, but Desiree also, she does her stuff so that she has money for searches for Kyron, and she's done a lot of searches. Um, David here says, if there was evidence that she killed him, how does she have immunity?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked because it's a confusing topic, and really all we can go on is a he said, she said, or she said, I should say, in this perspective. This issue here is that Stacey Green is the one who says she has full immunity, that she could literally come out and say, this is where we put Kyron, and she would be without repercussion completely. But then I don't know, it's kind of weird. Back in 2013, when Dede was giving testimony to the grand jury, it was under the deal that she was going to get immunity. And, a lot of people are kind of wondering, well, what the heck? Who gets immunity if you're not guilty of a crime of some sort? You're getting immunity for some reason. So some internet rumors have brewed, which there's so many rumors in Kyron's case, honestly, if it's a rumor, don't believe it, because we have literally debunked so many, like at least, like I would say, like 10, 20. So this is, to me, is just another rumor that this immunity she got is for employment fraud, and that's why she gave testimony to the grand jury for 5 hours or something along those lines.
Yeah, for like
Um,
5.5 hours.
but
And
yeah,
I just
Stacey
looked
says she
up.
has full immunity, but a few years ago she was saying nope, she lost her immunity. So that's the weird thing, is that somewhere along the line it got switched to, I can't really go into the details other than she has full immunity now.
Yeah, because Stacey Green's saying, "Oh, you lost your immunity because you lied." So it's almost like she got immunity in 2013, and then something happened. Maybe Dede said something. Maybe Dede lied. Maybe Dede did something that she's not supposed to that would cause her to lose immunity, and then maybe she got it back. I don't know.
I
Like,
have I do have a post here that I from March from Kyron Horman's World Soldiers. I screenshotted it to read it to everybody, and it is about this topic, so I'll just read it real quick. It says, I want to clear something up about Dede Spicer's immunity deal. I've always said I was a bit confused on the subject, but I'm hoping to give it a little clarity. Anyways, I said Dede received immunity because she appeared before the grand jury, and that was not right, and that's where lots of confusion came in. Dede was given immunity before ever appearing for the grand jury. So when Dede went to the grand jury, she already had immunity. Um, and then she reminded everybody that before that, pled the fifth 143 times she means in the civil case. And then she says, this BS about Dede getting immunity for workman's compensation fraud is a complete BS. If she ever got immunity for that, that's not going to make her immune for what she did to Kyron or what she testified to the grand jury for. That's just going to make her immune for charges for workman's comp or whatever she's claiming it would be. It's really hard to read any gibberish over there. She's immune for anything that has to do with Kyron. So she's a liar, just like her lover Terri. Dede got immunity in 2013 from DA Don Reese with the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. Dede was supposed to be offered conditional immunity so they could hopefully try to get somewhere in the case, but he instead gave her full immunity, no stipulations, and Dede knows she got this immunity deal, so please share the truth, Dede. Dede cannot and will not be charged with anything pertaining to Kyron. Innocent people do not get immunity deals in a criminal investigation. Guilty people do, though. This immunity cannot be revoked. New evidence proves Dede Spicher killed Kyron for Terri. Dede Spicher knows where Kyron is because she put him there. If you see Dede Spicher, ask her where Kyron is. Spread the word about the immunity deal. That's Kyron Horman's World Soldiers post from March 2023. So she's saying that way back in 2013, when Dede is saying she got immunity, it was before she testified to the grand jury, and it was full immunity by accident. So I don't know.
We've kind of talked about this accidental immunity. Like, did she just, okay, you guys give me immunity and I'll talk. And then they give her immunity and then she doesn't really fess up anything. She doesn't give them any information or anything else. And that would be the mistake on law enforcement or the DA, whoever, would give her that immunity, of course. But it's also really frigging smart of her if that's what she did. I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm not getting this accidental immunity. But
right.
Anyway, the immunity stuff, we just wanted to bring it up because it is brought up and it started showing back up on the World Soldiers page in July of 2022, which was about 5-6 months before everything else kind of was like weird. There was a search, and then Terri started coming out into the open and everybody's been wondering, why is Terri all of a sudden talking? And that was in February of 2023. And that's the same month that Kane's like, I'm not doing a car show this year. And so, it's just like very interesting. Like Nope says that, very interesting. I hope that means that there is progress. And that's what we're wondering, if there is some kind of progress. In this progress, when I started looking into a few things and looking at some videos, it almost looks like they're honing in on Dede Spicher, or they're, closing in on her and in the area where she worked. Let's talk about that. Look, how do you pronounce your name, Calendar? Is it Kwan? Just wanted to give you a shout out. Thanks everybody for being here. We really appreciate everyone when they show up, especially when we don't give much notice sometimes. We really don't. But what I'm going to play now is a video that talks about this particular search that we're going to talk about. And then I recorded some video because as soon as I watched this news report, I knew exactly where they were at, where they did their command center, and it's literally right around the corner from where Dede Spicher was working. Hold on one second.
Just trying to find Kyron and bring him home. It's about
I just want to point out in the background, it's to the left of the blue tent where there's kind of like a flag up at the top, I think on the top of the building. This is the building that I saw that I knew exactly where this was, but I just want to point that out because I'm going to have video and other pictures to show you guys this particular building. Up here for a minute too, because right to the left of his car where he's fixing to get his canine dog out, I noticed this little turn in the road and this particular spot where he's parked, and I knew exactly where this was too, that we'll be talking about later. So I have pictures of this, but I just want to show you guys right here that I knew where this was. I don't know how she does it, you guys. I really don't.
Yeah, that would be absolutely so traumatic. But, and, you know, she does talk about this moment in her book that she, you know, she contributed to years and years later. She said that after this, this was the moment that she realized she couldn't attend searches. And what year did this search happen, Samantha?
This was 5 years ago, so 2018.
Yeah, so I mean, she was doing searches all the way up until then. So then this realization that, wow, there is a time that I really could find Kyron. She realized I couldn't be there anymore. I couldn't be the one that was physically there. And I can only imagine why. I mean, that would be a feeling that none of us could ever imagine going through. Like, even just now, I have no words to really even describe how I imagine that felt. So yeah,
I had to collect myself for a minute because I tear up every time I watch that part of the video. And yeah, I had to, like, yeah, it's I don't even know how she do it. I just would not want to be there when someone screamed that I found a bone. When you're out looking, you know, for your child, and you know that they're out there looking for Kyron, an unalive Kyron, because it's 2018 and they're looking in the woods. Right. And like she said, you know, when she wakes up in the morning, you know, it's a bittersweet kind of thing. And it's not even a sweet thing. She wakes up, she knows what she's going to go do. She wants to find her son, but at the same time, she doesn't, because she knows where she's going to be going and looking. And yeah, the search was done in 2018. And again, Springville Road, right around the corner from where Dede worked at West Wind Farms. And this search was literally around the corner, so much closer to her work. Let's go through some questions here real quick, and then we'll start talking about where this search was. If there was evidence that she killed him, we already went over the immunity. This wasn't done by a dumb person. Laugh out loud. Took a lot of planning. Yes, I believe that it was planned out. I believe that. And No Nope said, "This is the worst. I can't imagine." Yeah, I can't either.
Me neither at all.
So let's see. Where do I want to go from here? So we're going to add this to the stage. I just pause right here. So this parking lot is on Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard. That building in the background, the white building, that is the same building that's in that news report. I know this because me and my husband, we stop sometimes here to buy berries, because this gravel area right here, it's on the 4-way stop there on Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard. And they have vendors that pull up to sell berries and fruits and stuff during the summertime and springtime. And we're always stopping right here to buy them. I mean, they sell like Hood River cherries and they wait
Right.
sometimes peaches, pears, like there's all kinds of fruit. And when I saw
Oh,
that
it
in
was
the
so
background,
amazing.
I was like, oh my goodness, I know exactly where that is.
It's crazy that something like that, like if you just pay attention, like you mentioned, you've seen this video before, but you look
Thousands
in
of
the
times.
background, now you recognize the whole, I've been here.
Yeah, it got me right here. As soon as I saw her, where I circled is that building in the background. And I'm like, no way. I had to get on Google. I had to look up the address and I had to zone in and go, was this, the spot? And then, yeah, I realized, I'm like, yeah. And see, there's the building again in the background. I mean, it's got the same slanted little roof, kind of. Yeah, like look at it over here. That's the same building. Same windows.
Yep.
And then this is where the search dog and rescue, the canine dog and rescue unit had pulled over to the side of the road, which I also had recognized right in that bend where I just had that circled right there. Where's see? You guys can right there. The bend in the road just kind of like, okay, I know this. And so I Googled it. I zoomed in. I got really down close to the road. I zoomed in on the trees. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it really is. This is the area. And I can take you guys to this area. I'll start right here. So right here, this is Northwest Germantown Road going north and south. The other going east and west is the sign for Old Germantown Road. So Old Germantown Road turns onto or comes onto Germantown Road. And then you guys can follow that arrow down at the bottom and see how it kind of yields up. And here you go, right here is the yield sign. And this area right here to the right is where the canine unit parked his vehicle to get his canine dog out.
Sorry.
You can see the little bend in the road. It looks the same on the other side of the road. I was able to, kind of look on the other side of the road. And now you're just going to get a good visual of how close he was to the command center. We're now traveling north on Old Germantown Road, excuse me. And then you'll get up here to the corner, and that's where Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard meet. And that's coming up right here on the right-hand side of the road. Man, I wish the weather would have been nice. I would have got in my car and took off to do videos today. I'll tell you guys what, I was like, I need to take videos right now. That's the parking lot. So, yeah, he was parked just a little ways up, and you can kind of see on the bottom part of this map the crossroad of it all. And I'm trying to get you guys a little bit closer to the building so that you guys can see it. I have found several search areas by watching the old news clips and trying to figure out what's in the background. But I swear
That's
I've
the
seen this
benefit
video
of,
so many times.
Being a local. And, I know that you spend a lot of time out in this area, so it's helpful.
Yeah, that was about as close as I could get you guys to the building itself. But just wow, like it's right there. And now I'm going to show you guys a video of Old Germantown Road and how close it is from that search. And Old Germantown Road is where West Wind Farms is, where Dede Spicher was working that day. So just left Germantown Road and I went down. I'm kind of showing all of these pull-offs. We'll get to that shortly because Desiree mentioned
A witness,
women,
right?
witnesses pulling off, or witnesses came forward about 2 people being seen pulled off the side of the road. So now we're headed towards, like, we were up on Germantown Road, and now we right past that yield sign, we went right onto Old Germantown Road. Just trying to give you guys a little bit of perspective of the area as we go down the road. You can look at the arrow down at the bottom too. I'm passing around that corner that I just passed. We're right at West Wind Farms. This is one of the roads to get into the side of West Wind Farms. I realized it and was like, oh wait, because West Wind Farms house is right up past that road. But where we talked about Dede being out on the property, on the far end of the property where she said she was working right off of the side of Old Germantown Road. There's the gate. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to do that. So
the fact that you can click, are you following a GPS? I was like, wow, the fact that you can click through this is pretty impressive and not like get lost along the way.
That's because I know where everything is. But right to the right hand side right here, let me see if I can do it. I think let's see, right there. Stop. Okay, that gate right there, we've shown this in the West Wind Farm video that I've done. There's a gate right there. This is one of the furthest spots that Dede could have been working up near the road. And is that not strange just how close she was?
Very.
I mean, so close. So she's on Old Germantown Road. You start traveling south on the Old Germantown Road. You get to that yield sign. This is the yield sign I'm talking about. Let's see. The yield sign's right there to the right-hand side. You're going to be entering Old Germantown Road or Germantown Road. So, yeah, you get up to that yield sign, and then right past the yield sign is where K9 was going out to go look at this bone. They were literally doing a search right around the corner, 2018. And you have them on Springville Road in 2017, also in the area of West Wind Farms.
Right.
The red dot here is West Wind Farms. The teal dot down on the bottom right-hand side is Springville Road. Right where Forest Park is at the top, that is the corner at the stop sign where that building is, where they set up the command center.
It's so close.
Look how close it is.
It is so close.
Yeah, it's like, are they closing in on Dede Spicher or what? And then all of a sudden, that just kind of goes along with everything else that we're talking about last year. All of a sudden, they're talking about immunity. They're talking about evidence that proves that Dede killed Kyron for Terri. And I just don't think they would be saying things like that if it wasn't true. And then all of a sudden, you have a new search in March after a new sheriff in town. You have Terri Horman posting on Facebook for the first time in 12 years. You have Kane canceling car shows and then doing it again this year. It's almost like, is he clearing out his calendar? You know, and I've also mentioned to Kaylia, like, Terri Horman's been making a lot of trips down to Mexico this past year. I don't know if that's something she's been doing since her and her husband got married, but I know because she's been posting this last year that she's going down to Mexico, and it's like, is something going on? Is something happening in the background? Is she getting ready to like take off and making like an escape route for herself, or what?
Bought a house, fake ID. You never know. I mean, I know that honestly, if her husband was born there, which I'm fairly certain he was, that he has a lot of family probably there that's still in connections, so it would not be hard to get started over there. So yeah, she has gone over there. In fact, I was talking to my husband about that the other day because she said she went to Mexico, and she pointed out and said something about she hung flyers in the airport along the way. But the thing is I don't know about Mexican airports, but in America, at least for certain, there's no way they would let you hang a flyer in an airport. You know, they don't even let you put like leave your bag unattended. I don't think they would let you put a flyer up. I know that's kind of not the same thing, but they're very obviously very concerned about security. So they just never know. So I don't think that anybody would be able to hang up a missing flyer in an airport without approval.
Yeah, some kind of approval. It's not like I'm just going to walk in here and start hanging flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Susie's saying, wow, that's close. It really is. It's so close. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to hit the floor today when I saw that in the background.
Yes.
Because
oh
we've already been talking about why these searches have shifted to the east. And then I saw this video and saw that in the background. And I'm like, no way. Kaylia, how many times have I talked about this parking lot? How many times have I said
it's somehow maybe part of her day, like it's some kind of significant part of the way that she got out of there? You know, was there a car parked there? It's just been theorized a lot.
Walked up there to, go meet Terri. And then before I get into some messages that Dede has posted on Facebook, or Desiree, I'm sorry, Desiree has posted, I wanted to just read this a little bit. It says, May 18th, 2017, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is quietly coordinating, get that, quietly coordinating ground searches. Detectives are analyzing new computer evidence, and a grand jury remains impaneled in the Kyron Horman case. We're pretty excited about the work that they are doing, the level of work, and the amount that's been going on, said Kyron Horman, Kyron's father. It's still extremely busy. Over the past few months, search and rescue crews have quietly conducted searches in connection with the Horman investigation. There again, you hear this. Search and rescue crews have quietly conducted. That's what I was saying earlier. We don't know about all of these searches, and I'm obsessed with these searches. I tried to do a live months and months and months ago, and I still have not been able to collect all of the information for that particular live because I keep running into more searches. And then it says
they're like reported by like neighbors and stuff. These are very, very on the down low searches. They're not like broadcasted by the sheriff's office. You never see them posting, oh, we're out here searching for Kyron. These are things that are coming in from the community saying, hey, by the way, we noticed they were out doing this. And that's kind of how this word of mouth thing, this quiet, it's kind of interesting they're doing it that way.
Yeah, and then this goes on to say there have been recent searches as recently as March and April. So this was written May 18th of 2017, and 2 months before that, both months, they are searching. There are going to be more searches in the near future, said Young. So here you've got they're searching in March, they're searching in April, they're searching in May, and they're talking about future searches. In late September 2017, 16, searchers from several police agencies scoured an area along Highway 30 near Sauvie Island. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office would not comment on that investigators were looking for, whether they had found anything or what led them to that search. And then the weekend of July 9th, 2017. So here we got March, April, May. She said in the near future, and I found something on July 19th. So that's a couple more months. Northwest Springville Road was closed from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Sunday between Skyline Boulevard and Northwest 128th Avenue for the search. Volunteers with search and rescue teams combed through thick brush Sunday along Northwest Springville Road. The terrain is going to be an issue for our search teams, hence the reason we had to close down the road, said Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Brandon White. There's no shoulder. It's a curvy road, but also one side is fairly steep going down, so safety is number one for the search and rescue team. It's a continued investigation. We will continue looking and doing the best job that we can do. Over the past few months, search and rescue crews have quietly conducted searches in connection with the Kyron Horman investigation. There have been recent searches as recently, I'm just repeating myself now. And then it says in June of 2019, Desiree says we're looking into key areas. Search area has been narrowed down to less than 100 acres. Young said she couldn't reveal where the search was centralized. Young said police have new evidence related to computer and phone activity. She confirmed law enforcement has conducted several searches in the past 9 months. So this is 2019, June of 2019. They're saying the last 9 months. So you literally have, you guys, them searching from Kyron from March of 2018 all the way through to June 2019, from what I could find. These are a lot of searches, you guys. 9 months worth of searches. This is saying from June 2019.
It's way more than we ever hear about, and it gives me hope. It's awesome to hear, honestly. Shows that you know they're not forgetting about Kyron and his family, you know, and you can just be hopeful.
And then it says, so that's searches from October of 2018, because this was part of my search paperwork that I have, because they actually started searches in October of 2018. From 2018 all the way up to this particular interview by this news reporter. We've got new technology, Young said. Things are changing all the time. Young also announced that she's been working on her book by Rebecca Morris. And then also, you know, this was kind of the year for them, because it was in 2020 when they did the show, Desiree and Kane, Real Life Nightmare, that Kaylia has recorded, because you can only watch it from, what is it, like
I found it on
TV?
YouTube TV. For some reason it's not on their Amazon Prime this episode. The other episodes are, but this episode is not. So I got it YouTube TV, which was, you know, it costs money, and I was able to get it, and it's on our Facebook. So you should be able to go and find it and search it. And also, I think you were able to maybe get some on our YouTube as well. Is that right, Samantha?
Yeah, I did 7 different clips.
Okay.
It's actually what started the TikTok going viral on our Kyron Horman Case Revisited TikTok. 1.3 million views over there.
That's so awesome.
With the very first episode of that Real Life Nightmare, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without your recording, so I appreciate that. I know it's been really exciting, but I'll tell you what, it's hard to keep up with the comments over there.
I'm sure.
I had to take a little mini break on that one, because people were just flooding in. And you know what? Some people aren't nice, or you get those bots that want to just say like some really stupid shit, and I'm just like, okay, I'm ignoring you. But Dallas is like, I would drive myself mad. I think about Kyron every day.
Me too.
I drive myself mad. Literally, if there wasn't ice on the ground today, I would have put my husband in the car, filled my car up with gas, and I would have been gone taking videos after finding that out, because I needed to go walk that area. I needed to go see where they were. I wanted, yeah, living in the area is good. And sometimes it drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, at least, I mean, it's helpful because, like I said, I mean, the police aren't giving us information. And again, we don't know if they're just like, checking off a list of locations or not. But I mean, Desiree is saying she has information that is leading to where she is searching. And, that, she can't tell us what the information is, but obviously, if you didn't live around here, you wouldn't know where she was. And yeah, it's kind of clear that that building matches perfectly. It is a unique building that stands out. So
Yeah, it was like an old hamburger place or an old like ice cream place or something a long time ago, and they still keep the building up. But if I wouldn't have seen the slanted top, I wouldn't have known that. I just remember seeing the slanted top because we've gone and like bought fruit on that corner so many times. I have messages here that Desiree has also written, that talks about Dede, that also talks about this area, which I find really interesting now. This one was written 2015, Desiree, June 4th, 2015 video, because the link to it is down below. So this is what she said, and then there's a link to the Facebook down below. Absolutely, without a doubt, with all my heart, I know that Terri, did it. I think she was working with one or two possible people, but absolutely she did it. We know at least Dede Spicher. Yeah, she was one of them. Like, she's straight up saying, we know Dede Spicher is one of these people. And here we have her talking about a third person. And we actually just posted in our Facebook group about Kane mentioning a third party, that he believed that there was a third party involved. So, yeah, I don't know who the hell that would be. And that's a whole other, I thought maybe, I don't know, the landscaper. I know Kane kind of thought that way back after the murder for hire thing. But yeah, I would not have a clue. I mean,
well, I've kind of wondered because we know that Terri was looking for another landscaper in April of 2010 when she was still in contact with her other landscaper that she hired in secret, Rudy. So could it have been that person? Did she actually hire a landscaper that she was able to convince? And another person that I've wondered is, could it have been Dede Spicer's brother? Because we've wondered about how maybe, did she have access to Dede's, or did Dede have access to her brother's truck? And
right.
maybe if she just actually was able to convince her brother to be involved somehow, he was the third person. Who knows? That's just me speculating and throwing theories out there.
Well, we're speculating a lot during this live. I mean, we're showing some proof of some stuff, but I mean, in all actuality, this is a lot of speculation during the show. We actually just wanted to get on here and talk because we wanted to get what other people were thinking too. Like, are we the only ones sitting here thinking like, wow, something must have busted loose last year? I mean, and I've also thought of a third person. Could it have been Jason Wishart? That's Dede's ex. It was the only boyfriend that Dede's ever had, and she didn't even get that boyfriend until she was in her 30s. He comes out after Kyron comes up missing, inserts himself into the case. He's saying, writing a letter to a newspaper talking about Dede, saying she would never do anything like that, but then turns around and calls the tip line and tells them, hey, you guys should go look over at Dede's aunt's house. She has a lot of property. So what do? They take K9 and go look, excuse me, and go take a look over at Dede's aunt's house. And what I find most interesting about all of that is, I believe, I do not quote me on this, people, I'm not for sure, but between 2016 and 2018, Jason Wisher killed himself. And that to me is just like, wow. So the thing I found very interesting about the fact that he killed himself, besides the fact that he killed himself, was that around the time that he did that is when all of this new search stuff starts. It's like, did he get scared? Did he start having remorse? Did he start feeling guilty? Could he have been involved? Started seeing things. I mean, I don't know where he lived. I don't know if he was hearing, hey, they're doing searches here, or maybe he knew something about, because Springville Road was on the news. And I did find a couple of these other things on the news from 2019. So I'm just kind of like, they had been split up, him and Dede, for a little over a year when Kyron came up missing. But I think she had her claws into that boyfriend. And because they were going to get married, they were actually engaged, and then he ends up leaving, or she ends up leaving. But yeah, I just find that really interesting.
That is interesting to think about.
I mean, right around the time that he hurts himself, I mean, how awful. I feel really bad for his family and everything, but the timing of it is just, to me, in question, I think.
And if he was a third person, I can only wonder if they would still be in contact in some way. I still believe that Terri and Dede are, or were, at least they were, I believe, but they could still possibly be in contact with each other. So
Dede's attorney said sometime in like 2013 or 14 that Dede and Terri were no longer talking anymore. They were no longer friends. Now, I don't know if that's because Terri got pissed off at her because she went and talked to the grand jury for 5.5 hours, or if that's just a bunch of bullcrap.
Terri on Dr. Phil also was asked about this by Dr. Phil, and she said that their attorneys just advised against it, but as far as she knew, Terri still supported her. I mean, Dede still supported her, and she still supported Dede, and it was just a matter of their attorney's advice that they shouldn't talk anymore. And even Dr. Phil was like, you have two supposedly innocent people here, and their attorneys are saying you guys shouldn't talk to each other. That is strange. That is abnormal. That's unusual. But again, I'd like to say, I pointed this out on the last live. I know for sure that there were women that were friends with both Terri and Dede. And they were talking about this on online blogs and stuff. So I guess my question is, are we supposed to then believe that Terri and Dede themselves are like not communicating? Like they have some kind of weird restraining order against each other where they can't communicate, but then these people that are all friends with both of them, I don't know. It just would be a weird dynamic if they weren't talking, is what I'm trying to say here.
And it's also a weird dynamic, like to throw in a third person. I mean, if I was going to harm a person or do anything to a person, I would never involve anyone because people talk. I'm not just saying from a crime junkie point of view, I'm just saying if I was going to hurt anybody, nobody's going to know about it except for me, because I don't want anybody talking. I don't want anybody knowing anything. So you not only have one person, Dede, but you could possibly have a third person. So that's like,
it's hard to imagine.
Somebody that they both trusted 100% besides each other. And, Terri's ex-boyfriend, after she goes down to California, he lets law enforcement know that Terri, and this is the ex-boyfriend that she ends up like trying to she took a knife up to his throat.
Yeah.
And he tells law enforcement that she has a regular phone and she has a burner phone. And so
this was
that tells you-
2016. So
Yeah.
yeah, years and years and years later.
she's still carrying around a burner phone. So what the hell do you need a burner phone from? And then I started thinking and speculating too the other night about, okay, all of a sudden 2020, what is it, 2022, they start talking about immunity and whether or not Dede hurt Kyron. And then around 2006, well, what was it, 2015, somebody had talked about an immunity or something even then. And that's when, what happened with Dede in 2015? We were just talking about this. And that's when I said something about, I wonder if that's why Terri went manic in 2015 and 16.
Oh, I can't remember.
Was that because they're saying that she got that immunity in 2015?
No, I think she got it in 2013, but
She started talking about it again. I just sent you that in a message, I want to say. If you could look back through your messages on Messenger real quick where I
let me
sent you
check.
some stuff, I would appreciate that. And then I'm going to because I'm thinking it was 2015, and that's why yeah, I had some more speculation I want to talk about. Anyway, sorry you guys. These burner phones, Desiree Young.
Oh, sorry, I found it.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Give it to me, baby.
It was okay. So in 2015, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office actually gave an update on the case, like on a press conference. And at that time, that's when they said that a retired FBI agent with specialized missing child abduction training was working on the case and going through the evidence again.
Right.
And that was 2015 when they updated that in May of 2015.
Yeah, and then I sent you some links about Stacy and World Soldier. I'm actually trying to look right now too.
Yeah,
and then it said something in there about
if she got her immunity in 2015. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because that's when she did steal a gun from, allegedly. This is all allegedly because she was never convicted. So I better mind my P's and Q's.
Right. I want to say that Stacy from World Soldiers said that in 2015 is when she got that immunity.
This says Dede was given full immunity in 2015. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Nope. I wanted to get down to the bottom of this because if
yes.
So is that Stacy saying that?
Stacy says Terri, this is again Stacy with Kyron Horman World Soldiers, her post. Terri, you just keep sinking lower and lower, don't you? You made sure Kyron wouldn't be at Desiree's wedding. You are evil, evil wench. You love to rub stuff in Desiree's face, don't you? It's okay, keep it up. Your day is coming, and it's coming soon. New evidence proves Terri had her lover, Dede Spicher, kill Kyron for Terri, and Dede was given full immunity in 2015 because the DA is an idiot. Terri will be charged, though, just as is coming, Terri. TikTok. So yeah,
yes,
it does say
2015. And that takes me to my other speculation because you and I have both talked on these lives. Why the hell did Terri need a gun in 2015? She steals this gun in 2015.
It's
Dede
weird.
gets immunity in 2015. We're talking about a person that could be responsible not just for 2 murder for hires, but possibly a 3rd on Stacy Green.
Yep.
And here she is carrying around a gun right after Dede gets immunity. Was she on her way back to Oregon? I'm just saying. And then this huge manic behavior starts. Terri steals the gun. She gets a warrant for her arrest for not showing up for court for the gun.
Stealing the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, for stealing the gun. And then gets pulled over in a car that is stolen, but they pulled her over because of some technical difficulties going on with the car. Then realize the car's stolen. Then they find out about the gun in the glove box. Then they realize she has a warrant for her arrest for stealing that gun that was in the glove box of that car. She goes to jail. I mean, and then...
Yeah, then she has the domestic violence restraining order against her, and the man who filed it said that she held a knife up to his throat and said, if you ever go to police, and it was specifically about talk to them about Kyron Horman, I will kill you and your family.
Because it sounded like that information that we found out about him had to do with
using the gun to try to kill a Kyron Horman advocate who we believe is Stacy Green. This is, again, we don't have any proof of that being the case, but that's what the online community was saying. And I can't remember what was the reason, but yeah, we saw posts from back then saying that the gun was stolen and that she was asking the man to do it for her.
Mm-hmm. Do a murder for hire against a Facebook advocate for Kyron, which we do believe was Stacy Green. And and then goes on this manic whatever, goes on the Dr. Phil show, was one of the biggest mistakes that she ever made, because you can just, she's lying and everybody caught her in so many lies
and changing her story so many times. She did 3 interviews in the span of a year, and they were all released in 2016. So really, it was like in the span of like 6 to 8 months. And you can find so many contradictions and changes in her story. Like at the beginning of 2016, Terri says she pulled over for 30 minutes and rocked the baby to sleep before she went to the gym. And then she tells Dr. Phil that she drove around, and when the baby didn't fall asleep while she was driving, nothing about parking, that's when she decided to go to the gym, which that matches her email that she sent her friend in 2010. So yeah, she is all over the place in those interviews.
Yeah. But damn, that would really explain why she just kind of lost her shit in 2015 and 16, because Dede just flipped. Wouldn't it be nice, you guys? Wouldn't it be nice to just see an arrest come up? And back to the burner pose and what's up on the screen. Sorry for our little thing. I want to say hi to Zane Lily. She shows up every single time we have a live. It's so nice to see you here, hun.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Other people involved, but this happens all the same time. We've seen involvement of friends and even family in other murder cases. Terri is also legally not allowed to possess a gun. Why wasn't she charged for that? We knew why. I know.
It wasn't a legal thing. I don't believe it was a civil thing for her divorce. So it wasn't like she had it was against her a parole or a probation, but civilly she wasn't. And she may have been able to be held in contempt of court, maybe if she was in Oregon, but since she was in California, that may have played a part in it because of the crossing of the state lines. And I will say that I do believe it had a big part and impact on her seeing her daughter and not seeing her daughter, because that was a really rough year. You can't tell me that the court was allowing her to see her daughter during that time.
Good night, Dallas. Love you, hun. Sleep good. Well, Desiree also said, I have it, but I don't have it to put up for a receipt or for proof. But I have read on one of her Facebook posts that she tells somebody that the reason why she wasn't convicted for that gun charge was because the jury did not understand that she stole that gun.
Oh, it was something like, what was it? They thought that she was going to give it back. Yeah.
That she had borrowed it and she was going to give it back or something like that. And I mean, Desiree was livid.
How court cases work? I mean, honestly, you are only allowed to present whatever evidence that the judge deems okay. And as an example to this, I don't know if any of you have watched that Hulu or HBO. I think it's HBO Max actually, with Natalia Grace, the little person who was a few years back, or maybe 10 years ago, maybe. It swept the nation of this person, this little person from Ukraine. Was she scamming her parents? Was she really an adult but pretending to be a kid? Well, HBO Max does this whole thing on it, and they try to sue him and the parents of this person because spoiler alert, don't listen if you are watching that and don't want to know. She really was a child, and they abandoned her at 8 and 9 years old. And so they were trying to charge the parents with neglect, and the judge did not even allow them to present the fact that she was a child at that time. And that was a massive, massive part of the case. So they were found not guilty. And when they came out and the jury found out later that she really was a kid and they were never told this information, they regretted finding him not guilty. They felt like he got away with it because he abandoned her. So that's unfortunately that just happens.
Yeah, I mean, like Desiree really thought, oh my God, now's the time. Terry's about to get in trouble. She's going to get in trouble for stealing this gun. She had a warrant for her arrest. Now she's got a stolen car. She's taking a knife up to some dude's throat. They might know about another murder for hire, and nothing happens. It's so frustrating. That shit to talk about just pisses me off. I can't even imagine how Desiree feels. Zane Lilly says that most restraining orders restrict gun possession. Not sure about state lines, though. She had a gun for 1 year. Yeah, 1.5 years before being pulled over in the stolen vehicle with a gun. She had the gun for a year and a half. And Susie says, I don't know how she keeps getting away with all of this.
Yeah, it's a mystery to all of us. I really, really don't understand how anybody can get away with doing so many things. I mean, honestly, think about it. That I hate to use the word lucky, but damn, if you're a criminal trying to get away with doing bad stuff your whole life,
yeah,
she's doing a good job at it.
If I were to go do something like any of the stuff that she's done, I would already be in jail by now. Like, that's my luck. I would just, I'd go.
I would just like to say I have never been accused of a crime and I've never been arrested. And I don't know, like, I mean, it's just as hard to imagine somebody getting accused and arrested over and over and over. And then that not being, like, at least semi-truthful about their character, you know? So, I don't know. Even if they're not found guilty, in my opinion, I still think that it's fair to judge them on their character because nobody is getting arrested and accused of crime left and right unless they are putting themselves in positions to do so, I guess, you know?
Right. And I mean, 2015, 2016, those were horrible, horrible years for her.
Yes.
Like, I mean, and it's just like, okay, so if Dede got immunity in 2015, is that why Terri flipped her shit? And, you know, I'll go back to what we're talking about during this live and the fact that they've been closing in on Dede Spicher when it comes to these searches being so close to where she was working that day. I mean, I don't know, man. This is just, it's crazy to think of. And then, you know, this is all going on in 2017, 18, 19. And I mean, it's completely shifted over to Dede. And if Dede said anything, could they just be trying to collect the evidence that they need to prove what she says so it's not Dede's word against Terri's?
Yeah, right. And just squash every bit of reasonable doubt.
Right, because you can't have any, because if, honestly, let's just put it out there. We don't know if Kyron's dead or alive, but if he is gone, and they move forward without a body, they have to make sure they're crossing their T's, dotting in their I's, leaving absolutely no room whatsoever for reasonable doubt. Otherwise, Terri walks free and can't ever be charged again. Ever.
It's just not a risk they're willing to take.
Yeah. And so back to the screen, burner phones. Desiree Young, August 6, 2015. Also, Dede, why use throwaway phones? To call and talk to Terri on and after June 4th, 2010, if you have nothing to hide and you are innocent. Oh, and wait, that means you were in contact with Terri after March 2010. So the reason it mentions March 2010 is because Dede had said she hadn't seen Terri since her birthday in March of 2010. But here, Desiree is literally saying that they had burner phones on and after June 4th, 2010, the day that Kyron came up missing. And we know they had them after. It's been talked about. Dede went and stayed with Terri for 11 days after Kane left, after he filed a restraining order and filed for divorce and took Kitty out of the house. Here comes Dede. And Bruce McCain says it the best. Dede talks like they aren't great friends. She talks like they ain't talked in months and months and months. But after Kyron comes up missing and everything, hits the fan, they're connected at the hips. And how does Dede come out and say, I know, and acts like she knows for a fact that Terri didn't have anything to do with Kyron's disappearance, if she hadn't talked to Terri at all or seen her that day, if she was on the farm like she said that she was?
Or if she was that close to her, like I would only make that comment about my very best friend. Otherwise, just an average friend, I'd be surprised. I might say, wow, I didn't see that coming, but I wouldn't go to bat for them and say there's no way that it's possible she would do this. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then it goes on to say, so many holes in the story. I can't even keep up. And those are just the ones that are public and we can talk about. So listen to that, you guys. That's Desiree. Like, okay, this is just something we can talk about. And there's more. I mean, there's so much more that we don't know, but we're able to piece together so much. And I believe what we've been able to piece together proves a lot. Pointing fingers towards Dede, pointing fingers towards Terri for having something to do with Kyron's disappearance.
Totally agreed.
And I mean, law enforcement isn't going to make a flyer with Terri and Kyron's face on it with the truck and then turn around and do Terri and Dede and the truck. I mean, they searched Dede's house. They searched 3 different friends of Terri Horman's. They searched Terry's house, Terry's truck, Terry's Mustang, or Kane's truck. I mean, they went and searched Dede's condo, her aunt's house, the farm where she worked. They're not just going to put so much time and effort into doing all of these searches and doing all of these things if there wasn't something pointing in that direction. After talking to hundreds and hundreds of people and pedophiles and even doing, polygraph tests on pedophiles, and Terri also failing 2 polygraph tests, walking out on the 3rd, family pretty much having to come together and give her some kind of intervention to even get her to cooperate to even do another polygraph test.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
And then let's see what else we got. This is Kyron Horman, World Soldiers, backing up Desiree Young. Also, Dede, why throwaway phones? To call and talk to Terri on and after 6/4/2010 if you have nothing to hide and if you're innocent. She's just reposting what Desiree has to say. So that kind of like, I just wanted to throw that up there to let you guys know. Desiree and Stacy, they talk. I don't think that Stacy would be putting anything on her Facebook, World Soldiers, if it wasn't true. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, it's been pointed out in the past that in the past the Facebook group was more monitored by several family members of Desiree's family, like her sister and her mom and stuff. Well, now it seems like it's mostly just Desiree, but it is ran by Stacy Green, so it's not like ran by Desiree or anything. But Stacy has made it clear that everything I say is approved by the family. I've never been corrected. In fact, I've only been, I've only had the family members kind of comment or share my stuff in agreement with what I'm saying. So,
Right. And this post is the one that I find the most interesting because it talks about Old Germantown Road. Desiree Young says this article is completely biased and doesn't take into account any of the evidence or police information. The property owner not only yelled for Dede, she also called for her several times on her cell phone, and then several employees searched for her on the property. No one could locate her. In addition, several eyewitness accounts of Terri and Dede together blocking someone's driveway on Old Germantown Road during the time they were unaccounted for. They were unloading stuff out of one truck to another. To give you a visual, this road is very rural, and it is odd that a truck would block a gate to someone's driveway because they knew all their neighbors. There's more that I can't share, but suffice it to say, the article doesn't say everything. I mean, this just says so much. There are witness accounts of Terri and Dede together blocking someone's driveway on Old Germantown Road during the same time they were unaccounted for, loading stuff from one truck to another. And then you got the fact that, she's supposed to go to lunch with these people. This employee at West Wind Farm, she's responsible for Dede. That's her employee. She
right.
can't just have this woman out wandering around the property with no one knowing where she is. She could have fallen in a hole, broken her ankle, had a heart attack, got stung by bees, you name it. Anything could have happened to her out there. She's out there. They're out there searching for her. And it's really convenient that Dede decides to leave her watch and her phone in her car. Why? Why leave it in your car? If you guys have burner phones to communicate with each other, I mean, I think, here's pure speculation, what a great idea for Dede to be doing something over here with Kyron while Terri is taken off in the West Hills where they first started doing all of their searches, all up and down all of these roads. Everybody keeps wondering why she's driving around. And could it have been a tactic to throw law enforcement off when it comes to the cell phone and the cell phone ping? Because you cannot locate where Dede was that day because she left her damn phone in her car.
Do you know why I can't remember if it's in the interview or what, but I feel like I have this belief that she said, "Oh, I didn't want to drop my phone in the mud." But then I found a news article today where her friend, so I guess this is like third-hand information, so you can't really take it as super reliable, but her friends were coming forward at the beginning on Dede's behalf saying that there's no way Dede would ever be involved or associated with something like this. And they said the reason she didn't have her phone that day, she forgot it in the car. So that stood out to me, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go find out why my brain is telling me I've heard that, oh, I didn't want to drop it in the mud.
Somewhere on Blink on Crime, I read
Maybe
when I was first investigating Dede and looking into her doing research. I read somewhere in all of that Blink on Crime stuff that she said she didn't want to drop her phone in the mud.
It might be in the interview itself. I feel like a lot of that of the information in my memory comes from there. I just can't exactly remember. So, I'd be willing to bet probably it's right in the interview itself. Well, yeah, I found a news article today where the friends say, oh, she forgot her phone in the car. So it seemed like she was telling her friends, oh, it wasn't intentional. I just forgot it in the car and I just didn't need it. So
Yeah.
she didn't grab it.
Yeah, I don't know. And then again, it would be interesting to find out, because then you got contradictions. You've got friends that Dede must have told, I just forgot, and then she could be saying something different to blink on crime. We already know that she lied about why she went over to Terri's house for 11 days. She told, what was it? She said that she went over there because her parents were leaving to go back to Roseburg, and her parents wanted her to come because there were death threats against Terri. And then you have her telling Blink on Crime, or that Terri needed her there, that she called and said, I need you.
Yeah, and it was just because they were such good friends.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Let's see. We're going to take some comments because Zane Lily's got a lot of comments right now. We got prosecutors and Marion County District Attorney's Office reviewed the evidence and determined they could not prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, said Assignment District Attorney Barry Barden. From the article I read today about her being acquitted on gun charge. August 8th, 2010, Dede provided a tip to LE that prompted a search in a 2-mile radius near Skyline Elementary, as well as West Wind Farms. Investigators told the media source that the searchers were the search for criminal evidence. More than likely, something very specific that Dede had told them. It could have very well been one of the untraceable phones. Yes, we actually talked about that earlier on why Springville Road was searched, because Bruce McCain actually thought that that was one of the reasons why. And yes, this was a search on the search on Springville Road was not a search for Kyron. It was an evidence search. And you weren't here, Zane, when we showed it earlier. I will throw it back up in just a second to show you just how close Springville Road is. It's right around the corner on the other side of West Wind Farms. We went over a map and a news article. I found a new search area that's on the corner of Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard, because of the building that was in the background in the news report. So you're definitely going to want to watch and rewind. I am telling you, great information, because we're literally trying to figure out why all of a sudden there's this sudden shift in searches and stuff, more east towards around where Dede Spicher was working that day. That's why today's live is law enforcement closing in on Dede Spicher. Let's see what other. She's like, oh, I will. We know you will. And then, not to mention physical evidence in the back of the truck, in addition to the fact that she can't say where she was that day without lying about the time. She's had 3 versions of her timeline that day. Why is it so hard to figure out where she was? Maybe because she doesn't want us to know where she was or what she was doing. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And on that note, I want to kind of change the subject, and then we're going to go back, because I found another news clip today. And we're talking about timelines here. So, timeline. We know that Terri said that she went to the first Fred Meyer's to get medicine. They didn't have it. She went to the second Fred Meyer's. We're not talking about a prescription. We're just talking about Tylenol or Moulton. She said she needed. The doctor told her to get it on the 3rd for her ears, because after taking amoxicillin, the baby's ears were still hurting. And she took the baby to the doctor on the 3rd. So that's why she goes to the second Fred Meyer's, because the first Fred Meyer's didn't have any, because
just makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
She had the doctor's appointment the day before. So she had all day the day before to go find this medicine.
Yeah, she also had Kane's truck the day before too, which I find very interesting. Have the truck 2 days in a row.
I mean, she had time to take recycling the day before, but not get her daughter medicine. It's
when the
that's so
recycling that
yes,
she said that she did was at Fred Meyer's.
very suspicious.
Yeah. And so after that, she says she goes from the second Fred Meyer's around the corner. It's in the same shopping center to the Magic Cleaners to drop off cleaning or Kane's clothes, which I also found very interesting because if you have Kane's clothes and you're going to be going to the dry cleaners, then why didn't you just go to the second Fred Meyer's anyway? Why'd you even bother going to the first one? Why not just go to the second Fred Meyer's and do that and go drop off dry cleaning? But then she says that she went to Michael's. Well, guess what, everyone? I found a news clip where Desiree is talking about Michael's. Y'all aren't going to believe this. I'm excited. Check this out.
And she was the only one that came back and said, oh, well, maybe I forgot about the craft store I went to. And then we start backing into it. Well, there was no camera footage that proves that you were there. And well, the lady says you weren't there either. And, you start really tearing it apart. And well, that wasn't really true. And so, well, maybe I was at the craft store on a different day. And, there was so many different versions of what she was telling people and where she was at. I still know to this day what I had for lunch. I know everything I did that day. That was the day that our world turned upside down. I can tell you where I was. There's no way that she doesn't know where she was at.
And yeah, there you have it. So me and Kaylia, couple of months back, were trying to prove whether or not Terri even went to the dry cleaners. And Kaylia, she's like, heck, I'm just going to email Kylie Boshi from News Channel 8. We're going to find out. And he was able to confirm it. And he confirmed that with Kaylia.
Yep.
So we were able to confirm that he had actually spoken to somebody at the dry cleaners and knew that Terri did go to the dry cleaners that day. So I'm like, okay, so what about this Michael's? Because early on, she had also said that she went to this Albertsons. Kaylia was fixed on this for like a minute. And then I was able to find something where they actually got footage from the Albertsons that she said she went to. So according to her, she went to 2 different Fred Meyer's and an Albertsons. And the footage didn't even show her going in the store. So that story changed. And here you've got Michael's. She mentions the craft store after going to the dry cleaners, which is a couple miles, maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away from the dry cleaners, and yeah, it's not true. Here you got Desiree. There's no footage of her in there. The woman at Michael's craft store says, nope, she wasn't here. And then she goes, oh, maybe I went a different day. How in the hell could you not know what you did that day?
Right. It's so important, like literally so important.
I mean, and then you think about the fact that she's like, I got a baby with an earache. She's not feeling good. And yet you're going to all of these stores in and out. You're saying you're going to all of these places. She's just, I feel like this is what they did. We talked about, she's over here in the West driving all of these roads while, Dede is busy doing whatever and throwing off law enforcement by her phone pinging, which she eventually knows they're going to look into her. They're going to see her phone pings. They spend all of this time looking in these areas. And then you have her creating more chaos. I was at Albertsons. I was at Michael's. I was doing this. I was doing that. She says, I was at the gym at 11:39. No, you weren't. Footage showed you there at 12:20 p.m. She was only there for 20 minutes and she didn't even barely work out. While she was there, she's telling people, she's
I thought the science fair.
Pissed. Yeah. She's
Showing
pissed because she had things that she wanted to do that day. She's bitching. I guess somebody said she was bitching about her stepson because she had to take him to the science fair and she didn't want to be doing that she had something else to do. She's showing pictures to people in the gym, outside the gym, outside the Fred Meyers. People say like this proof of life thing. I don't necessarily know if it was proof of life, but I think you're going to remember seeing Terri Horman. If she shows you a picture of Kyron, you're going to remember seeing Terri that day than you are maybe if you just pass by each other. She actually uses this picture, I think, to create conversations to have with people so people remember her so she can create this alibi. Meanwhile, when law enforcement starts asking her where she was and what she was doing, she's causing a bunch of chaos. You've got law enforcement out here having now, because she's lying, because she's changing her story, they're having to go over to Albertsons to get footage now. Footage that ends up not showing her there. She's saying she's going to Michael's. They got to get footage from there. They got to talk to people there. I'm screaming right now, you guys. Wild friggin' goose chase. Wild goose chase is what she had them on. Here she is controlling the narrative. We've talked about this. We did a live on it. I can't tell you guys how many things we came up with Terri controlling the narrative in Kyron's disappearance. And it even, her timeline is a way to control the narrative by throwing off law enforcement. Again, this is all my speculation, but I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense that she's just trying to throw law enforcement off instead of honing in on the truth. But I think after a while, getting back to what this live about, I think after a while, after evidence starts coming together, after Dede, gets immunity, new searches are being done in a different area. It really looks like they are closing in on the area around Dede Spicher where she worked. And something is just screaming at me that something's not right. Something's just not right about this. And, for a long time, I hear Stacy talk over there about how there's new evidence that proves that Dede killed Kyron for Terri. And inside, I think she would never lie about it. Part of me is like trying to grasp onto that because I don't want to believe that he's gone. The other part of me is just like, is he gone? And when you start seeing some of the stuff that's been going on the last year, what she's posting, the fact that Terri starts talking on Facebook, Kane starts canceling car shows, and let's not forget Desiree Young's new pep in her step.
Right.
Like, let's not forget that, you guys, this summer. Like, Terri, we're coming for you. Don't sleep. She's got a smile on her face. She's not distraught. And we're used to seeing her like we've seen her during this live on this newscast or in these news reports, that she's broken. She's crying. She can barely even talk about Kyron ever without tears in her eyes. And she didn't look broken. She didn't look broken for once. She had a pep in her step. And I'm not saying that Desiree's happy. I just feel like she knows something's about to go down. And she's got confidence in that. And I think she's really holding on to that. And I really, really hope that for her and Kane's sake, that there is something going to pop.
I hope so too.
I mean, it's a new year. Who knows? Let's just hope and pray that, 2024 is the year that Terri gets arrested and Kyron's found. It appears Dede gave Ellie a tip to lead them to where at least oh yeah. And then she says that she will watch, and I have that timeline mostly done. Oh my gosh, thank you. I just put that together, Heidi. Oh, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, Zane is working on this timeline because I talked to her the other night, and Messenger. We were going back and forth, and I was kind of talking to her about all of the information, um, you know, that we're talking about here and these searches in that area, and just how coincidental it is, that all of the stuff was going on in January, February, and March, including a search. And I just think that it's really, really telling that Terri started talking again. Terri started talking again, people. That is an important piece of this huge picture here, I think.
I agree. Something changed. Something changed and motivated her to start speaking and talking publicly and posting about Kyron, of all things. I mean, as far as I know, throughout all this time, she's been pretty darn quiet, especially about Kyron.
Yeah. And what I hate the most about her posting about Kyron is just none of it's even sincere. I usually love, no matter who's doing it, to like post about Kyron, talk about Kyron, but I don't know if she does it to get attention, if she's doing it to
For
just be
sure.
like,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm doing it. Because you know what, you guys? I was watching so many news clips with Desiree Young today, and I'm telling you, she flat out says Terri never went on one search, not one. Why wouldn't you go out on a search? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's only one reason why you wouldn't go out on that search. I don't even want to say it again. I am so tired of talking about whether or not Kyron could be dead. It really just breaks my heart so much to even think about it.
Me too. I agree with
But
you.
I've really gotten to the point where here lately, especially with these searches shifting over where she's at, it's like, even though Stacy's been screaming it, something in my head now is just like trying to grasp it even more, like, oh damn, what if he is, what if they know? And I mean, even during that news clip, she broke down and cried, and she said, we know Terri. And then she almost wanted to let it out, and she didn't. But I mean, you could tell like she knows something, and that's why they're out there searching. It's just so sad.
It is.
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine losing my child, not knowing where they're at, not knowing if they're safe or not. There's just so many what ifs. I would never get any sleep. I feel so bad for these parents, any parents of any missing child ever.
It's hard to imagine as well, and I know it just the lack of answers and not knowing. I'm sure that just eats away at you, and that's why I'm so glad that we have a community of people that come together and make sure that we don't ever let people forget about Kyron and the things that happened throughout these last 13 years. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that has happened. I'm so glad Desiree hasn't lost strength to keep going and going and going. I mean, she was nominated just recently to do a speech, I think, for National Missing and Exploited Children. She was like an honored guest, of some kind of honored guest, to speak about her son. And it's because of she is a fire that cannot be put out. She will never stop for Kyron.
Yeah, I've my oldest daughter, she knows, I'm attached to, I'm going to say kids now because I've been obsessed with Michael Vaughn too. But she knows how I feel about these children. And she tells me, I just don't know how you do this, Mom. And I'm like, I do it because I can't imagine being the parents, and I would never want to be in that. So if I can do something, I will do it. And I can have that strength. You know what I mean? I can have that strength for them or for Kyron. Because,
Exactly.
She was like, oh, Mom, she goes, I'm just saying, if anything ever were to happen to any of your grandkids or any of us kids, she was like, you would be just like that because you are so strong. And she reminds me that in cases of like real emergencies and stuff, I have the tendency to pull my suck it up underwear and get through it good, and then I fell apart. And I just think that's what it's taking right now for these parents, pulling up those suck it up underwear until something breaks loose, until they find the truth. And then, the falling apart and whatever they get to do later down the road can happen. And I just hope that that's sooner than later.
Yeah, seriously, after so many years already, it just has consistently felt so close yet so far away this whole time. The answers of where did Kyron go after he left the school with Terri that morning? What happened?
Yeah, we're going on 14 years. In 6 months, it'll be 14 years that Kyron's been missing. Kyron Richard Horman came up missing on June 4th, 2010 in Portland, Oregon from the science fair at his school, Skyline Elementary School, which is located on Skyline Boulevard in Portland, Oregon. There's a $50,000 reward for any information about his whereabouts, or if you have any information or saw anything on June 4th or the surrounding days of June 4th, 2010, please call the tip line at Multnomah County Sheriff's Office at 503-988-0560 and, say some prayers for his parents. And, let's just all get together and pray when you can, that he's returned safe, or that he's found, and that his parents get some peace. I mean, that's really all we can do for the family. If you hear any kind of misinformation in the case, that it's not true, say something and then correct it, because the rumors that go around are just ridiculous in this case. We've worked really hard to try to do that, debunking them. Zane Lindley, it's really interesting to see the dates and events. I'm excited. I think it's really cool. I'm glad you were able to do that and put like a timeline together of everything. And she says, yes, this woman makes my blood boil. I can't imagine being Desiree. That woman has the self-control of a saint. I know
That's
she
for
does.
sure.
I mean, the way she talks to reporters and everything, she just keeps her cool. And she's advocating for other missing children. I heard a news clip today where she said that working with other parents of missing children has been something that means a lot to her. It really touches her, because nobody can understand what a parent is going through when they have a child missing, except for another parent with their child missing. And it's
Truly.
just really sad to hear that too, because she has spoken multiple. We talk about this one case, but there are so many missing children out there.
It's tragic. It's really hard. I know I do a lot of advocacy for Kyron, but really when I start to think about how many kids are missing and how many families are without answers, my heart gets so heavy. I'm so empathetic, and I just can't imagine what it would be like, and how I would react, and like truly how much strength it takes to just remain standing tall after that. It's incredible.
Yeah, she's so strong. She is so strong. And talking about strong women, let's not forget about Brandy Neal. This is Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom. What an amazing woman. She is so strong. She has reached out to every single platform she can possibly imagine, on YouTube and Facebook, you name it. She's talking to everybody to get her son out there. Michael Vaughn was abducted on July 27th of 2021 in Fruitland, Idaho. If you have any information about his abduction and the people responsible for his abduction, Stacy and Sarah Wandra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff. These are the suspects now. There could be more, but they know where he is, and they need pressure. These people are gross. I mean, this case would blow your mind. We haven't been talking about all of the specifics, but this little boy, he just turned 5 years old when he was abducted there in Fruitland. He was, daddy was in the house. Daddy was ordering pizza, and Michael left through the garage and started wandering around the neighborhood, looking for somebody to play with. And an abductor, one of those 4 people or somebody involved with them, picked him up. And they know this for a fact. A witness came forward and actually told law enforcement to look for Michael's body in the backyard of Stacy and Sarah Wandra's house. So this is a very, very difficult case for us to talk about. I hate mentioning it the way that I do because Brandy Neal is heartbroken. So is her husband Tyler and their other children. She's got 3 more kids. Michael Vaughn's baby sister, she's heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. She misses her brother so much. They were like 2 peas in a pod. And then her other 2 children are teenagers. And they were older when Michael came up missing. And they're devastated. I see that her oldest daughter, she is just so there for her mom. I love seeing her support her mom so much. I mean, because Brandy is broken, and you can definitely see that she's broken, but she's also very, very strong.
You have to be, when you go through a situation like that, you're thrown into a situation where you have almost no choice, especially since she's a mother and she has to maintain that sense of normalcy and keep her composure to like lessen the blow for her kids. It just is a position I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And yeah, his disappearance is tragic. I'm so grateful that you have been shining a light on his disappearance. Recently, one of the suspects did a couple hour long interview, a several part interview with another content creator. And he mentioned even he was in the area where the boy who disappeared from that night. So it just is another and very tragic case.
This is little Michael Monkey Vaughn, and that's Brandy Neal. He is such a beautiful child. He's so beautiful. If you have any information about Michael, please, please, please call the tip line at the Fruitland Police Department. You can also call your local FBI or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Brandy, if you're out there, we're still throwing everything we're throwing things together. We are going to be doing some lives on Michael Vaughn here real soon, but we want to make sure we have all of our information correct. There's a lot of information to go over, but in the meantime, we are rooting for you. We hope Michael comes home. We're praying for you. If you need anything, reach out to us, and we'll be glad to put you up on the platform for anything.
Absolutely.
Then we've got, hey, and oh no, I missed the live. Miss Bum Bun. That's so sad. Well, you can always go back and rewatch it if you want.
That's true. Replay crew.
We're so happy that we had so many people come into the live tonight. I've been trying to catch up with Monkey's case, but I have to do it slow. Sometimes this stuff gets to me, gets to be too much, and I have to take breaks for my heart. Oh yeah, I
relate.
Get it. Yeah. I went to my daughter's house last weekend. We stayed up till 3:30 in the morning talking, and she wanted me to tell her all about Michael. And I sat down. I talked to her about him. Tonight I told her I was doing a live, and she goes, "Is it on Kyron or is it on Michael?" She just had surgery on her eye, but she wanted the show to be on Michael. Just in all honesty, she's just like, "I need to hear more about this case, Mom. You need to start digging deep, start letting me know what's going on."
It's a crazy one. I agree with you. I think maybe on our next live, maybe we should focus on him and bring some more awareness back to him. His case is so close to breaking, guys. Michael Vaughn. We did do one live. We were not as we had just began our research, so I feel like our next one, it would be really, really informative, and I think you guys would be shocked as well that there has not been any arrest made. And it's just the matter of fact is that this stuff takes time and the police has to make sure that they get it right. So
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, our last live, I think our last live was really good on him and stuff. But the person
yeah,
that we had come up on panel with us, and something happened and she disappeared off of the live, didn't come back.
it
We
was
had like
yeah,
going on. And when that happened, it kind of threw us off a little bit. So if you guys go back and watch it and you guys are wondering, like, hey, this doesn't normally sound like Sam and Kaylee, what they
yes,
do, that is why. We
yeah.
were completely thrown.
We thought we were gonna be on a Q&A style of a video. So after we lost connection with the person that was going to be providing our answers, we kind of had to go with what we had. So yeah, but yeah, we still got a lot of good information in there. But yeah, that's the backstory on that one.
Yeah, I want to do something about the fact that Stacey Wandra has started talking. And yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, okay, suspects in a case of a missing child that may be gone. And these people don't give two shits about getting up on a YouTube channel and talking. I'm just like, what the hell? I mean,
It's it's just a sign of the time. It's so bizarre. This is truly 2024. We have Gypsy Rose Blanchard, you know, being released and like becoming an Insta celebrity on the internet. And then we have suspects giving interviews on YouTube channels and blogs and stuff. Just
yeah.
weird.
And not just for one day,
Strange.
3 days in a row. And then Brandon Shirtliff does like 2 different interviews. One of them's almost an hour long. He's just drinking beers one right after another. It's like, okay, if you want to talk, you want to get drunk and talk, go for it.
I mean,
Like,
it's great for us sleuths, but I really do wonder, can the police use that? Like, I just don't know
it's
because
their
it's not
fault.
like
Of course they
they're not.
can. It's like social media. Like I was told and I got griped at because I took a bunch of information from James Moulton and I posted it up on my Facebook to show everybody what he had been saying about his mom, Terri Horman. And I ended up having to look because I started getting a little scared, like, God, can I get in trouble for like posting this chat information or these text messages or whatever? Absolutely not. If it would have been a text message, I may have been able to get in trouble. But because it was in a chat in Messenger, which is social media, Facebook is
Yeah,
social media, YouTube is social media, it is different. You're pretty much giving whatever kind of permission the moment you're on social media. So if you're messaging and you don't want people to know it, you're afraid you're messaging this person and they may share it someday. I wouldn't be sharing that information with anybody because you won't be able to do anything about it. Just saying.
I mean, I just got a weird notification on my messenger on my phone yesterday that said your messages meet or your messages pass our community guidelines. Like it was like a security check from Facebook Messenger telling me that my messages didn't have anything bad in them. And I was like, what the heck? I've never received an alert like this, but it was 100% about my Facebook Messenger. And I'm like, this must be new. So yeah,
Bunman's wondering if they need more evidence in the Michael case. All I know about the Michael case when it comes to the evidence is I believe that they have enough evidence to prove what they're trying to prove. But I think because of other aspects and people flipping on people and that kind of thing, and I think that Stacy and Sarah are in the middle of getting a divorce or something like that.
yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's spot on. I know they turned some information over to the DA. One of the Facebook groups that advocates for Brandy Neal said that information went before the grand jury, but then she turned around and backtracked and said, nope, I got it wrong. And on the live that we did, we actually talked about information going to the grand jury. So that kind of made us look a little silly. But I don't know if it's gone to the grand jury yet, but it has gone to the district attorney. We're advocating for him right now because not only were we asked to, it's about to pop open. He needs as much awareness as possible. If you guys see his flyers, if you see any of Monkey's flyers online, please share them. They need witnesses to come forward and tell law enforcement what they know about these suspects that are involved and what they may have done with Michael and who abducted him, and what happened after
Where
that.
he could be. Yeah, exactly.
There's so much after that. There's so much, and there's lots of rumors flying around really super fast. And we're going to try to put a stop to those too, because we do really well at doing that. And we thought, why not try doing it in this case also?
Yep.
Susie, I saw Detective Tony Young on Dateline 2 weekday ago with Keith Morrison. I wish they could do Kyron's story.
Me too.
I saw Detective
Are you talking about the one from back in 2010? Because I believe Tony Young went on Dateline in 2010 with Desiree.
Yeah, I actually just posted part of that up on our YouTube station. I got all kinds of stuff on my YouTube station, or our YouTube station, you guys. We have search areas. We have old news clips. We've got shorts. We've got Terri lying about stuff. We have Terri's timeline in videos. I drove from the school to Fred Meyer's, from Fred Meyer's to the second Fred Meyer's, from the second Fred Meyer's to the cleaners, from the cleaners to Michael's. I go over the 24-hour fitness video. We're actually going to be doing a live about her timeline here soon. But yeah, we have so much on our YouTube. If you guys haven't already, click the bell, get to some notifications, because like tonight, I called Kaylee, I think it was almost 4:00, and was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a live, but I don't know what to do it on. What are we going to do? And she's like, okay, I'm available. So we kind of threw something together. And if you haven't clicked that bell, you're not going to get notified that we're going live. So click the bell and subscribe. Subscribing really helps us because it brings awareness. The more people we have on the channel, the more views we get. The more views we get, the more people are seeing this, and that's what's important. When people see the flyers, when people see things, that's why that TikTok going viral was an amazing thing. We have hundreds of thousands of views on all of the other videos and 1.3 million views on one. So
yeah, it's like a digital flyer. I think it's so amazing that went viral. And also, Samantha has so many goodies on every single tab on this YouTube. So yeah, be sure to click the videos, click the live, click the shorts, click the community, because every single tab will give you something a little different. And if you're like Samantha and I, we like to research. So yeah, we have a ton of research compiled here on this YouTube.
Yeah, and go to the playlist. There's lots of stuff on the playlist, including a book reading by myself on the book Boy Missing, the Search for Kyron Horman by Rebecca Morris. She's a New York bestseller true crime author. She's amazing. I think the book is amazing. Oh my gosh, guess what? I downloaded it on my Audible.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Now I'm going to be able to finish the book. You guys would
Yay.
think I have finished the book, but I haven't, because I've been reading it. My voice gets so messed up after I read it for a while, and then it takes me a little while longer to add more to the playlist. But I got the Audible just so I could at least finish it myself, because I know there's information in there I'm probably going to freak out about. Yeah, I bet everybody here thought, what? She hasn't finished it? No, I haven't. Anytime I look up anything, I just ask Kaylee, hey, is this in the book?
I have the Kindle version. I have a Kindle app on my phone in the Kindle version, and you can search words. So that makes it really handy if we're looking up certain topics. You can just search what the book says exactly. And then I also have the Audible version. That's the first version that I got. And even the Audible version has a different, like, I think it's under the menu. There's different pictures and stuff available in the Audible version, and that's where I found where it actually says in that Audible version that Terri uploaded the picture of Kyron at 9:33 a.m. instead of 1:21 p.m. like all the timelines have always said. So
I know there's good information in there for sure.
Yep, definitely. If you don't have your hands on it, I know Audibles they'll give you a free trial. You know, some YouTubers have a code for that. We're not that cool yet, so but yeah, you can get like a free trial at Audible, and you can download the book through that free trial, and you get to keep the book. Or the Kindle version, which is the one that I use most often. That one I think was like $10 to $15. So either way, great options available and super handy. Lots of good information. And as somebody who's researched this case a lot of the information I have now been able to I have found in news articles and stuff. Some people think that, oh, this book is purely Desiree's point of view. Desiree says she has a journal full of information that she's in notes and stuff, so she has very valuable information to provide to the book. But secondly, it wasn't just her. The author also did a lot of deep research, like Samantha and I, and used news articles, interviews, legal documents. She spoke with attorneys and sought, like, professional opinions on things, and all of this was contributed to the book. So it's a really, really good read. If you haven't read it yet, it's Boy Missing: The Search for Kyron Horman by Rebecca Morris.
Yeah, Bun, get on there and you can listen to it. I've got up to like 50 chapters. Yeah, I mean, there was even a rumor going around that, Desiree's attorney didn't want Desiree to put out the book. And there is mention in the book that he kind of had a problem with it in the beginning. But I think the initial shock of her wanting to do the book is why she wrote about it in the book. But I mean, in the acknowledgments, it even goes as far as saying that Rebecca Morris talked to the attorney
about the book. Yeah,
about the book
as a source. Mm-hmm.
When I really couldn't find out the answer, I messaged Rebecca Morris and straight up just asked her, and she was like, well, the attorney was with Desiree when Desiree was signing books, and she was kind of irritated and mad about the fact that people were saying all of that, and I told her it was just rumor, and probably just rumor. And yeah, she was the one who also mentioned, there's acknowledgments of him in the book. I sat down with him and talked to him about the book. So it was nice to hear back from her, because she didn't get back to me on Messenger for a few months after I messaged her. But yeah, that rumor's kind of like squashed. I mean, me and Kaylee, we don't have a problem in Messenger, emails, or whatever. Like, if we're trying to get down to the root of an answer, like, we will do what
put herself out there. Yeah, well,
yeah. Find the truth. I mean, because the truth is important. There are so many people that follow this case. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't we try to find the truth? Try to give everybody the truth. Yep. I get irritated when I hear people not speaking the truth. So it's just really important for us, for everyone to have that information, the information that we have. And, it's really cool this last week, after talking with Kaylee and after talking with Susie, hours, you guys, of visiting on the phone, that we were able to piece some things together, and we were able to piece together the fact that right around 2017 through 2019, June, July of 2019, there's a bunch of searches going on, you guys. Like lots of searches. And it all goes from the West Hills over to the east side. And the east is where Dede was working at West Wind Farms. West Wind Farms is only like a good, I want to say 4 to 5 miles away from Skyline School. Let's just throw that up for shits and giggles again. But where the red dot is where, oh, I don't know why I was getting an echo. Sorry. Where the red dot is where West Wind Farms is. And I want to back up. Where Forest Park is sitting, right on that X, that is Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard. So if you took a left and started traveling left on that map right there, you would run into Skyline School. It's really
so
not
close.
that far.
Really so close.
And then the Springville Road that was searched down at the bottom where the blue dot is on the far right, that's Springville Road that runs down. And yeah, I was just able to, during conversation, put together the fact that someone could have went from Kaiser Road and took Springville Road to go up and over to West Wind Farms. They don't have to go the opposite direction. I don't know. It was kind of an eye-opener to me because I know the area, and it's just really telling to me that you end up at the corner that the search ends up right at the corner, the command center of where that X is, where it says Forest Park. The command center is literally there on, oh, wow. I'm still just kind of blown away by it all. Let's see if we can throw that back up there. Yeah. This is the parking lot, right where that Forest Park X was. This is the parking lot where the command center was thrown up in 2018, where they were doing searches. They talked about doing searches in March, April, May. Said new searches were coming. Come to find out, when it's reported in 2019, in July of 2019 or June of 2019, which was it? July 9th of 2000. Let's see. Yeah, June 2019. Desiree says we're looking into key areas, and they have narrowed the search down to 100 acres. New evidence related to computer and phone activity. She confirmed law enforcement has conducted several searches in the past 9 months. So that's June of 2019, 9 months prior to that. So all the way back to October of 2018. And then you already know they've searched March, April, May of 2018. This is nonstop searches, you guys, from like 2017 all the way up to 2019. This is crazy. And all around this area, it's just blowing my mind. I mean, there was some searches. We know in 2017, the grand jury wanted law enforcement to go back down to Sauvie Island. And yeah, just wondering why the shift in the searches. And I wish I had more details on these searches that were done in these other months that they're talking about and know specifically where they were. I mean, we know one of the last searches done was in March of 2023. It was the same month that Desiree talked to the new sheriff. That month before that, Terri Horman starts talking on Facebook. And you also have Kyron Horman coming forward and like, okay, we're not doing car shows anymore. Well, we're not doing them in 2023. And now he's came out saying they're not doing any in 2024. And you have Stacey Green 5 months prior to that January, February, and March, where she's talking about Dede getting immunity in 2015, Dede killing Kyron for Terri, and that was in July and August of 2022. So all this stuff is happening and just kind of making you wonder, like, what is going on? Why all of a sudden the shift in searches? Why all of a sudden are we talking about Dede harming, Kyron?
Yeah, with so much certainty. Exactly.
And I just keep talking about everything. I don't know how much time you have, Kaylia, but there was just so many people in here, and I know a lot of people came in late, so I just wanted to go over this again. Bun, I need to watch the fact that searching makes me think they know that Dede Terri are involved. I hope they find something. They said Dede was the one to kill him. Wow. Yeah, Stacy Green, which is a friend of Desiree Young, she runs a Facebook group, and she has said that. It is really interesting to hear, and it's hard to grasp. I don't think that I've quite been able to grasp it yet, but that is what's talked about. And yeah, this search right here, where they set up command center right here, isn't very far. And I'll put those up again. We'll start here. So this is on Old Germantown Road and Northwest Germantown Road. Right now, we're on Old Germantown Road. You get to this yield sign, and then right here to the right is where, in the news report that I watched earlier today, I was able to figure out that K9 had came to look in this area, in this part right here. And I've been able to find search areas just by watching old news clips when she's talking. And then we're just going to travel right up the road to the corner of Skyline Boulevard and Germantown Road, which is where that X was on the other map. If you guys don't know it, Old Germantown Road, where that yield sign was, Dede was working at Westwind Farms on June 4, 2010, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from where that yield sign was. So the fact that they're right here, like right on top of Westwind Farms, is huge. And here's the parking lot right here off to the right, where the command center was. I mean, it's right around the corner, you guys. Yeah, Sabina Bun says that's wild. Susie says no, Detective Young was on Dateline about another case in Portland, Oregon. He was the lead detective on the case. The story was really wild. I thought Tony Young, it was about 2 weeks ago. Are we talking about Tony Young, Desiree's husband, right? I thought he retired. I'm confused now.
I'm confused too. I'm not really sure. I didn't know he even wasn't doing police work in Portland at any part of his life, so that's news to me. But I would be interested in hearing about it. I know he is a detective or was a detective in Medford at least. But on that note,
something that you watched on the internet? If there's a link to that, can you send it to me, or send me the name of it if you can, so I can like rewatch it? Because I watch Dateline all the time.
Yeah, send it or post it in the group even. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of us that would love to watch it. I know I watch Dateline all the time too. So, but I know we have lots of people watching, but I do have to get off. So I will thank everybody for listening to me at least. I'll still be in the comments, but it's getting kind of late. And so
no worries.
I'll talk to you guys
Have
later.
A good night, hon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye, hon. Man, it hasn't just been me in a minute. So let's go over this other video. This is a video of Old Germantown Road, and it is a video that will take you to where Dede worked from Germantown Road. And you can kind of watch the arrow down at the bottom to give you an idea of like where we are. So right now you can see the arrow there on the bottom part of the map. And we're about to yield on to that little road that's going down and to the left. And that's going to be Old Germantown Road. So as you're traveling down, we're headed directly to West Wind Farms, where Dede Spicher worked. You know, I was trying to get a good look at all of these driveways because of what Desiree said. She said that, you know, 2 women were seen. I've got it pulled up right here. I'll read it to you. This article is completely biased and doesn't take into account any of the evidence or police information. The property owner not only yelled for Dede, she also called her several times on her cell, and then several employees searched for her on the property. No one could locate her. In addition, several eyewitness accounts of Terri and Dede together blocking someone's driveway on Old Germantown Road during the time they were unaccounted for. They were uploading or unloading stuff from one truck to another. To give you a visual, this road is a very rural, and it was odd that a truck would block a gate at someone's driveway because they knew all of the neighbors. So here I kind of like did a little bit of a backtrack because I almost passed Westwind Farms. Bun, I hope Kyron gets justice. Me too. Stay warm, Samantha. Oh, I am freezing. We have been so cold. I know it sounds really odd, but I took tape and taped around the front door because of all of the air coming in the house. So here is West Wind Farms, and that's how close it is. I know you guys aren't getting like the greatest perspective. I can't wait to go do a video to show you guys, but that road right there goes into West Wind Farms, circles around the area, and then right here to give you guys a little bit more of a perspective to the right hand side. I'm going to pause it as soon as we get there. Okay, this gate right here, you're looking at it, is one of the far ends of West Wind Farms. Dede said on her live with Blink on Crime that she was working on the far end of the property next to the road. So in our other video where we show all of West Wind Farms close to the road, this is one of the places where she could have been, next to the road. And it's just so close to where these search areas are. And like I said, I can't wait to actually get up there and do some videos, especially, you know, of this area, and actually walk around. I'm probably going to walk around up there because now I know an area that isn't a huge area, but it's big enough for me to walk through, take some trails, take some videos and stuff to give you guys a better perspective. But it was just really cool to come across this video today and see that, you know, I can notice something in the background and I knew exactly where the search was done. I'll play the video again and then I'm going to let you guys off in case you guys haven't seen the video from earlier. It's just so heartbreaking to see that. I've watched that video so many times. I never recognized what was in the background because I was just so focused watching and listening to the newscast itself. But yeah, that search area was Germantown Road and Skyline Boulevard, just right around the corner from West Wind Farms where Dede was working. I just find that very telling. I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up. I know it was a very short notice. We love you guys for coming in and chatting with us, and yeah, just being a part of the search for Kyron and bringing awareness to him. If you see any flyers for him or Michael Vaughn, please post them up. It's really important to get awareness out there for these children, especially if things are going to pop at any minute, especially for Michael Vaughn, because things could be popping at any minute for him. We know for sure. And if something does pop for Kyron, you know, the community, even though the community will never forget that Kyron disappeared, we have to keep his face out there so that if and when Terri is arrested or Dede is arrested or something happens, you know, the community hasn't forgotten and they'll be there to support Kyron and his family. And it's super, super important to just keep bringing awareness. We have a Facebook group, Kyron Horman Case Revisited, discussions and case studies where we discuss things. We have a community here on YouTube where we post things up in the community. You can go to, you know, our, you can go to our YouTube channel. And then once you get there, you'll have all different kinds of places that you can go and look through. And there's lots of videos. You can look at the shorts. You can look at videos. You can watch lives. We have short lives and long lives. A lot of our lives have some really good information. Controlling the Narrative and Terri Controlling the Narrative is an amazing one. Terri's Exit, or one of the new ones, Ground Zero. We take you all the way around Skyline Elementary School in videos. It's an amazing video. It was an amazing live to do. It really brought a perspective. I've gotten a lot of messages from people like, oh my God, I can't believe I felt like I was right there at the school. So that was really fun to do. You know, I've got my diehards here. I love everybody for showing up. I know a lot of you guys are on the Facebook. We also have a TikTok. We have an Instagram. Now that I just recently started, not a lot has been posted there. I'm not used to posting things over there quite yet. My daughter just had surgery on her eye. This week's kind of been rough. We were wondering if she was going to lose her eyesight during the surgery. So I haven't been on my Facebook or doing too much lately. So if you guys are just wondering why I haven't been around the last couple of days, we've got family things going on right now. But I appreciate you all being here, supporting Kyron and his family. Susie said it was Tucker Moore Reed case in Medford, Oregon on Dateline. Analyzing Tucker Moore Reed case in Medford. I am going to write that down right now because I'm probably going to watch it when I get off of here. I want to see what it's about. Thank you, Susie. Again, she's posting this up because I guess Tony Young was on a Dateline show, which is Desiree's husband, Kyron's mom. So in Medford, Oregon. Okay, had to write that down on Dateline. So yeah, if you guys want to give that a watch, go over and check it out. I love Tony. I love listening to him talk. He actually gave me a really good perspective on the way he felt about this. You know, he thinks Terri is responsible too, and he's a detective himself. We've mentioned a lot of stuff. We've speculated a lot during this live. If you heard us talk about the speculation, please don't take the speculations and spread them as rumors, please. We try not to speculate too much on our lives for that very reason, but because we were just so intrigued with these searches and these search areas and the shift in the search areas is why we wanted to do a live and actually talk about the fact that it really looks like and sounds like they're closing in on the area where Dede Spicher worked. And yeah, we've also felt like, something may be going down or started to go down sometime last year after the talk of Dede's immunity and the fact that she may have killed Kyron on the World Soldiers page that started in July and August of 2022 and the new sheriff. And then that was in January of 2023. Kyron Horman cancels his car show for 2023 in February. And then the first post in a public Facebook group from Terri Horman was in February of 2023. And then, that's just crazy in itself that she starts talking on Facebook and out in public with her Facebook, not a fake profile, her Facebook. Yeah, what happened in Terry's world? What changed? And then you have Desiree Young going and talking to the new sheriff in March of 2023. There's also a search for Kyron in March of 2023. So January, February, and March were some pretty big dates for a few things. I just think that doing these lives are really important to give everybody a really good perspective on things. I'm sorry that my little map things sometimes aren't, what they could be, but there's ice out. I'm telling you now, if there wouldn't have been ice out today, I would have been in my car taking better videos of the area. But I got so excited about finding out where this particular search was that using the Google Maps was like my best way to kind of give you guys a visual. But anyway, I am just jibber jabbing now. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to end the live. And if you guys have any information on Kyron Horman and his whereabouts, please call the tip line at 503-988-0560. No tip is too small. And, it could be information about June 4th, 2010, or it could be information about days surrounding it. We also have Michael Vaughn. He was abducted on July 27th of 2021. If you have any information about his whereabouts or any information about his abduction by any of the 4 suspects that are currently suspects, Sarah and Stacy Wandra, Adrian Lucian, Brandon Shirtliff, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST, your local FBI, or you can even contact the Fruitland Police. We really appreciate everybody always coming. Click that bell for notifications just in case we decide to go live spur of the moment, just like today. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the rhythm of our YouTube. We're trying as hard as we can to get more and more members in. It has nothing to do with being monetized. We could care less, but the more members that we have, the more these lives, the more everything that's on this YouTube gets shared and looked at. And that's what's important. Thanks everybody for coming.